here's what I have to say. The Black Lives Matter movement was started because it was talking about police brutality. If you want an all Black Lives Matter movement that talks about gun violence in communities, including, black communities, then start that movement with that name. But that's not what Black Lives Matter is about. It's not an all-encompassing. So if you're talking about, if someone started a movement that said, cancer matters, and then someone comes in and says, why aren't you talking about HIV? It's not the same thing. We're talking about cancer. So the Black Lives Matter movement is about police brutality and injustice in that manner, not about what's happening in black neighborhoods. There are people who are working on that issue. And if you want to start that issue, why don't you start it?
Hey, what's up, guys? Black Angus here. Sitting on the couch. It's raining outside, so I can't do my classic backyard video. But don't worry, I got some beer. Living the high life today. So, got some more leftist lunacy today. Watching Salty Cracker, shout out to him. Go sub if you haven't. He's hilarious and informative. Apparently, addition is racism now. Don't really understand the logic to this at all, especially from either PhD or PhD student. But this apparent teacher, I'm not sure what grade or level, says that, math addition is like a Western construct. So Western means colonizer, which means oppressor. So it falls under the Marxist bullshit. This is where the left's going. This is how they've worked this whole time. They keep you dumb. I'm just trying to make everyone dumb out of fear, using this kind of walking on eggshells because this is offensive strategy. I'm waiting for them to go after tanning next, if they haven't already. But this is how the left operates. Elmer Fudd. I'll give you an example that I remember from about a decade ago. So I used to read the USA Today here and there when I worked at the gas station, my first job. We'd get the previous day's paper when they changed them out. And there is this abhorrent story that really encapsulates so much common sense conservative ideals, why they need to be in place to protect minorities, especially immigrants. Poor or no English skills, especially. Why we need English established as our language. And I think this reflects kind of on what we're talking about. So in this highly Hispanic community, almost all illegals or illegal extended family out in California, there was this teacher who was doing sex acts of various sorts with the kids. One example, and trigger warning, legitimately, if there's abuse survivor or something. It's just abhorrent. One example is feeding blindfolded kids cookies with his cum on it. And the really fucked up part on top of that is the parents knew. All right, and this wasn't like some weird sex group or something, like Epstein. This was a bunch of parents who knew, who were afraid to report the teacher because officials would get involved, and they were afraid of getting deported because this is how California's worked with the immigrants. They've just given them a pass and actually subjugated them to fear of law enforcement and fear of deportation, to the point where they'll let their own kids be savaged by a sexual predator. And on top of it, most of them didn't speak English. And so this was another issue where if someone might report, they can't fucking talk to anybody. This is what the left preys on. They want you dumb and scared and dependent on them, on the government they institutionalize. They want you dumb, so then you don't ask questions. You don't fight back. You don't, look at what's happening and think, this shouldn't, maybe we shouldn't go down this road. Maybe this doesn't work. They always, the left, this is their strategy, sometimes good intent, sometimes good effect, but generally not. This is their Marxist tactic of establishing, whether it's real or not, oppressor, oppressee, the trans issue. I think the first trans surgery, at least in America, was in World War II era. Of course, it probably was nothing like today, but this has been around that long. But once the gays get their marriage allowed by the Supreme Court, which I agree with, I thought the left had nothing to fight for, but they manufacture this fake fight now. That's how they work. They'll take even things that don't fit normal or, good living to whatever degree. They'll pander to you, be like, oh, you're not abnormal or whatnot. There's a reason there's this argument about the pedophiles adding the P to LGBTQ plus. Because it's like, no, you're all right. It's just, mean oppressors don't want to accept your other lifestyle. And it's crazy. And the other crazy thing today was Don Lemon, of course, showing the left's hand. We've been talking with all these black people getting killed in CHOP in Chicago, now Atlanta. An 8-year-old girl's dead because of some Black Lives Matter related incident. They don't care about black people. They definitely don't care about black cops, despite whatever good record they have, because they're part of the establishment. And they want to make everyone dumb and destabilize everything. I think to the point where you're just complacent, like sheep. Terry Crews has been getting all this backlash for common sense ideology, saying like, it's, let's not make it Black Lives better, in the sense of, let's not push something that instead of fighting for equality is actually fighting for superiority, which is how I see things with this movement. It's racist. It hates everybody, especially white people, and wants to just, in their view, turn the tables and be on top. It's kind of like Black Panther with Killmonger. It's a toxic, evil, hateful ideology, and it preys on people's emotions of bad instances. So Terry Crews is talking with him, saying like, what about all these problems in the black community? Fatherless homes and black on black violence, which is disproportionate to any other race, given the percentage of black people in the country versus how many dead are there from their own kind, from their own people. Doesn't match up with any other race in this country. And he's like, no, it's about police brutality and deaths from that of black people. It's not if you want to make a thing about all black lives, then it's like, what? That should be the Black Lives Matter. It should kind of encompass everything. Anyone with a brain can figure that out. 2 + 2. Oh, racism. This is a lunacy. And Don Lemon had something before this, like it was around when I think his name David Dorn, I know it's like a DD, the retired black cop who was murdered in the streets by looters getting TVs from pawn shops. An old servant of the public, grandfather, father, dying on the street like Uncle Ben for TVs. He doesn't fucking matter because he's a cop. You're not black if you're a cop. This is the logic, There was a sheriff talking about this, like, what about these black cops that are dead? And it's just these, shimmying away. Whoa, why are you being confrontational? Whoa. Because he doesn't really give a fuck about black lives, like we've been talking about. And, yeah, it's crazy. Applaud you, Terry Crews. Keep up the fight. I'm sure soon you'll be on the Coon Bunch image that Snoop Dogg put up recently. You'll be there soon, if not already there. You got a target on your back with these loons. It's tiring, but whatever. We'll win the fight. Common sense will prevail. But that's a couple topics of the day. I plan to get to something I talked about on Twitter earlier tonight or tomorrow. So look forward to that. Talk to y'all later. See you around.